What's going on, y'all? Today we got LeBron James will never pass Michael Jordan. Sheesh, let's get into it, man.
The age-old LeBron versus Jordan debate is still alive and well in 2023. And this year, many LeBron fans, they were hyping up these playoffs the year LeBron would finally pass Jordan and get ring number 5. Now, unfortunately for these people...
You know what I'm saying? I believe that that wouldn't have done it. You know, at least 6 rings and at least 2 Finals MVPs, at least. You know?
That didn't happen.
You need at least
LA didn't win the title.
6 rings
they
and
didn't
at
make
least
the
2
finals,
more Finals MVPs.
and they didn't even win a game in the Western Conference Finals.
Bron.
And looking at LeBron versus Denver, it was a pretty shaky series with some really low points and a few high moments. And even though he did lose, he made some history in the process, as by being swept, he becomes the only player in NBA history to be swept in 3 different decades. That being 07, 2018, and now 2023. And how did LeBron James, the so-called GOAT, cap off 2023? By breaking a shot off the side of the backboard and getting ripped on the game-tying layup. Now, with year 20 finally being in the books, what actually changed in the Jordan vs. LeBron debate? In my view, absolutely nothing, as MJ still is winning, having more MVP.
I mean, I wouldn't say absolutely nothing because as LeBron is scoring, just playing basketball, bro, he's still achieving some type of greatness, some type of accolades, you know. So I wouldn't say absolutely nothing changed. He obviously accumulated some more accolades and some more longevity stats and things of that nature. But yeah,
Finals MVPs, Defensive Player of the Year,
in terms of
all defensive teams,
the answer
scoring
changing,
titles,
yeah, none
and of
changed.
course, championships. The one thing LeBron James has on Jordan is longevity. As playing 20 years, I always say that LeBron James has the best longevity in NBA history. But at some point you have to ask, Michael Jordan played 15 years to LeBron's 20. And despite playing 5 less years, his accolades dwarf LeBron James. And one thing I do want to talk about is LeBron in the East versus LeBron in the West. As in the Eastern Conference, he dominated when it was weak. But now in the West, it's been 5 solid years with only 1 championship and 1 finals appearance. 2019, he missed the playoffs. 2020, won the bubble championship. 21, got bounced the first round. Last year missed the playoffs, and this year was swept by Denver. I'm not going to say it confirms the theory, but it is pretty bad optics that LeBron James in the Western Conference has been nearly as successful as he was in the East with his super teams. And with him losing once again in the West,
you're not really. Let me see if you're going to say something like.
Here's Nick Wright, per usual, taping for his guy and making ludicrous arguments.
20 years old, LeBron was better. He was finishing second in league MVP voting. Jordan was getting bounced in the Sweet 16. At 38 years old, he's far better. He's averaging 30 a game. Jordan was averaging 20 a game for an also under 500 basketball team.
I mean, all right, see, Nick Wright, he's comparing numbers across eras. You can't do that. You just can't do that. That was MJ played when MJ came back at 38. He was like, that was one of the most defensive eras ever, right? Like 2002, 2001, the 2000, all the 2000s, it was real defensive. I know that. You know what I'm saying? Like it was tough. It was tough, bro. But I was gonna say about Cut. He failed to mention that Bron is way older than he was before. You know, he's not going to be able to keep doing what he's doing. It just happens to be at this time that he went to the Western Conference Finals. In my opinion, I don't feel like it has to do with him being the East or the West. I just feel like he's getting older. He's getting older, man. He went to the West way too late in his career, and now seen the effect of that.
He was better, quicker, and
I
faster.
feel like he'll be losing in
Now,
the East too,
stopping
though.
that clip right there, I absolutely love that argument, as Nick Wright unknowingly makes the case for Jordan being the GOAT. As when debating LeBron versus Jordan, what does he bring up? LeBron at age 20 being better, and LeBron at 38 also being better. Conveniently, what years did he leave out between Jordan and LeBron? their entire primes as well as their peaks. That is why Michael Jordan is better than LeBron. His prime, his peak, and how he dominated an era was simply greater and better than LeBron James. And look,
facts.
I will admit it, LeBron at 20 and 38 was better than Jordan. But everything in between is Michael Jordan every day of the week. And to show you guys how flawed this argument is, looking at a player when they're young and old, and only looking at that, here's Kareem in 1972 in his second season. That year the Bucks only lost 16 games and went 12-2 in the playoffs. Averaged 27-7-3 on 51.5% shooting. Looking at age 38, en route to the championship, he averaged 21.5 points, 8.1 boards, 4.0 assists on ridiculous shooting. He was fourth in MVP voting, and his Lakers team won 60-plus games. And looking at the NBA Finals, which LA did make, he averaged 25.7 points, outscored Larry Bird, and was the Finals MVP. Using Nick Wright's logic of being better early in your career and later, Kareem is better than Jordan and LeBron James. My point being, that argument is so flawed and not how you judge players.
He was better, quicker, and faster. When Jordan didn't have help early in his career and was getting swept around.
I mean, quicker and faster and better. That's a lot of bold takes. I wouldn't say he was quicker. I wouldn't say he was faster. I wouldn't really say he was better, you know. I mean, he maybe to say he was quicker, faster, and better. Okay, he's saying at 20 and 38, but at 20, I don't think he was quicker and faster. He was not quicker and faster than MJ at 20, you know. Yeah, he wasn't quicker and faster than MJ at 20, you know. Maybe it was probably right here. I'm saying Bron right here, MJ right here, but he wasn't quicker and faster than MJ at 20. 38, he's quicker and faster and better, but yeah, like bro said, he big left out.
LeBron was taking Sasha Pavlovich to the finals.
I'm sorry to interject really quickly, but Nick Wright lies so much so often, I have to stop this clip right here. Michael Jordan, early in his career, the first 3 years, yes, he lost in the first round. In 85 to the Bucks, 86 to Boston, and 87 also to Boston. But to say LeBron James in his first 3 years was just so much more successful, it's a flat out lie.
Nah, yeah, he wasn't.
As looking at LeBron's first 3 years,
he barely
in
did
04,
either.
he missed the playoffs. 05 missed the playoffs.
If you look at that next year, though, we know what happened that next year. Carry that team to the finals.
Like either LeBron or Jordan just came into the NBA and started winning is simply not true.
You talk about that next year, though, y'all. I'm telling you what to talk about that next year.
So what is the Jordan argument? Oh, the prime, the peak of Jordan's career. I will take LeBron's prime of 9 finals in 10 years and 4 championships and 4 finals MVPs, all of those championships coming against top 15 all-time players. Tim Duncan, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, all of them coming against all-time great players. I'll take that against Jordan's prime.
Nick Wright, being the absolute weasel he is,
he's just pure
delusion.
MJ played against a whole bunch of all-time greats, man. Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Dominique Wilkins, man. He played against Tim Duncan as well. David Robinson. Who else? Clyde Drexler. Who else? Shaq, Kobe. Who else? Like, come on, bro. You can't.
Saying he'd take LeBron's 4 championships and 9 finals appearances over Jordan, that says more about Nick Wright than anything else.
That would make sense. That would make sense. It'll make sense.
As looking at prime LeBron James,
you take 4 finals over 6.
2011 to 2020, compared to Jordan from 88 to 98, MJ has 5 MVPs to LeBron's 2, 6 titles to LeBron's 4, 6 finals MVPs to LeBron's 4, 0 finals losses to LeBron's 5, 9 all defense.
Okay, see, that's when we get low, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't understand how is it a knock on somebody that they, you know what I'm saying, lost in the finals. When somebody that, you know what I'm saying, lost before the finals doesn't get knocked for that, you know? we're just like, that doesn't even make sense. If you make it to the finals, you're obviously better than the teams that didn't make it. So why are they not punished and why are they not punished for not making it even to the finals? It don't make sense. I hate that argument. The final losses argument doesn't even make sense, bro. You can't do that. You can't do that.
Defensive teams to LeBron's 4, 9 scoring titles to LeBron's 0, and 1 defensive player of the year to LeBron's 0. Even looking past accolades and just playoff play,
all defensive teams
Michael
and all
Jordan averaged 5 more points per game on identical shooting splits. He had less turnovers, as well as more steals, and a better conference versus better competition. And I hope you guys noticed something. Identical shooting splits. He had less turnovers, as well as more steals, and a better shooting splits. Michael Jordan averaged 5 more points per game on identical shooting splits. He had less turnovers, as well as more steals, and a better conference.
Why ain't you talk about the Bron rebounds and assists though? Like, come on, bro. Like, that's just nasty work. Is that not nasty work just to leave out what Bron? Like, what are we talking about, bro?
Conference versus better competition. And I hope you guys noticed something. When Nick Wright compared prime Jordan versus prime LeBron,
So he really not gonna
what
talk
did
about
he do?
it?
He only talked about LeBron James and his 4 championships and 9 finals.
You basically only talk about Mike. You only talk about Mike. You never say nothing good about Bron, bro. That basically, you do the same shit, bro.
And not once compared them straight up. Look at the accolades, the competition, and the numbers. And looking past Nick Wright,
I mean, you did that halfway. You just did it just now. You ain't really trying to compare the assist and rebound numbers because you know Bron got more assist and rebounds.
He gets worse than that one.
It's alright though.
As on
A
TikTok,
little bit of hypocrisy.
the garbage platform that is. You have LeBron fans making arguments like this daily.
Word.
A 5th ring for LeBron would officially make him the GOAT, and this really shouldn't be a controversial take. If the GOAT was only dependent on the number of rings, then people would make the argument that Kareem or Bill Russell was the GOAT, but we don't because it removes all the context from the rest of their careers. Michael Jordan had a longer career than just the 6 years he won championships, and during that time, he barely accomplished anything outside of putting up great individual stats.
So stopping it really quickly, I'm so tired of downplaying championships and winning. Once again, championships, they matter, and they're not everything for a player's legacy. But even if they were, Michael Jordan at worst is behind Bill Russell and tied with Kareem. And one thing I do want to highlight, at the very end of that clip, this guy said that Michael Jordan, outside of his 6 championship years, accomplished virtually nothing outside of great stats. Remember that statement because later on, it will be very, very important.
Jordan had 3 playoff runs before Scottie Pippen was drafted to the Bulls and had a grand total of 1 win over that span. LeBron entered the league and instantly started carrying his team to the playoffs. When Bron was on the Cavs the first time, not only did they never lose in the first round, but he took them on a finals run and had 2 other conference finals appearances.
Now, stopping it right there, when it comes to LeBron fans, they lie every 5 seconds. As in his own words, he says LeBron James entered the league and instantly started carrying Cleveland to the playoffs. It takes literally 5 seconds.
This is like just taking the most egregious takes and just debunking them. Like
that's not true.
You're not going to try to
like I showed you guys earlier,
a good take. Like,
Jordan with the Bulls in his first 3 years missed the playoffs 0 times, compared to LeBron James, who missed it twice in his first 2 years. And I do find it pretty ironic how Jordan losing before Pippen and still making the playoffs, that's a black mark on his legacy, a stain. But for LeBron,
I find it funny how LeBron making it to the finals, but Mike just losing before he got to the finals. It's a stain on LeBron's career. Like, come on, bro. You're a hypocrite,
actually
bro. It's
missing the playoffs
ridiculous.
the first 2 years.
It's ridiculous.
That's ignored and purposely glossed over. And one thing I wanted you guys to catch,
ignore all the times
this guy
Mike
very sneakily said
didn't make
LeBron
it to the
James
finals, though.
made 2 Eastern Conference Finals appearances, that being in 2007 and 2009. Now, why that's funny is because for LeBron James, those runs are highlighted. But for Jordan, remember what he said. Outside of his 6 rings, he accomplished virtually nothing outside of good stats. Michael Jordan
I'm not sure if he said good
championships
stats.
in
When he said good
89
stats,
and
y'all, someone run
90
it back.
made the East Finals.
I thought he said.
But for this
just
LeBron
individual,
fan, it didn't happen,
accomplishments,
and it's not
probably
brought
business
up.
stats.
That right there
Yeah,
sums
my
up
fault.
9 and 90 stats. Michael Jordan pre-championships in 89 and 90 made the East Finals. But for this LeBron fan, it didn't happen, and it's not brought up. That right there sums up these debates to a T. You have to hold players to the exact same standard and tell the whole story. As Jordan 89 and 90, he did lose in the conference finals, but lost to the eventual NBA champions. And looking at 89 specifically, he carried a weak team by any standards. And that Pistons team who beat Jordan in the entire playoffs only lost 2 games, both to Jordan's Bulls.
It's also a testament to LeBron's greatness that he was able to withstand all the media pressure, because from the moment he entered the league, he was compared to Jordan, and his cultists looked for every reason to discredit him. And now at 38 years old, if Bron wins a championship, they will say that it was him getting carried by 80 in the playoffs. But Bron is in year 20 and still performing like a top 10 player in the NBA. A championship this year would be more impressive than any of Jordan's rings, and would easily make him the undisputed GOAT.
The absolute delusion of these people never ceases to amaze me. As saying LeBron's 5th ring, if he won it this year, would surpass all of Jordan's rings, is a ludicrous take by any standard.
I don't like that.
As LeBron this year individually had his 3rd lowest scoring postseason run,
Then Bron.
4th worst 3-point shooting run, and I would argue was not the best player on his own team. And I really do question these TikTokers. Do they know NBA history and how good Jordan actually was? Look at 91, his first championship. He averaged 31, 8, and 4 with 2 steals and a block, and his Bulls team went 15 and 2 en route to the championship. In 92, he averaged 35, 6, and 6 on ridiculous 50, 39, and 86 splits. He had 16 games of 30 plus points, the most in NBA history, and a total of over 750 points in the playoffs, the most ever. Looking at 93, once again up this play, averaging 35, 7, and 6 on 48, 39, 81 splits, and in the finals, averaged 41 points per game, the most all time. LeBron this year as an individual player does not come close to prime Jordan from 91 to 93. And if you want to say Jordan,
I don't know.
he didn't face tough competition, it was weak.
Right now.
Look at
You don't
97.
know this. You just debunking
Jordan
the
and his
trash
first
tape.
team led them in points, assists, steals, blocks, and defensive rebounds. And the teams he beat, the 64-win Jazz, the 61-win Heat, 56-win Hawks, and 44-win Bullets. Based off opponent's win percentage, that is the second toughest championship in NBA history behind Hakeem in 95. Even looking at 98, Michael Jordan, he was 35 years old, still averaging 32 points per game, and his roster was average at best. As Pippen was averaging 17 points per game, and Kukoc was at 13. Those two guys were the only teammates in double figures. And even with that being the case, he won the championship with the oldest roster in NBA history. That right there is a quick summary of Michael Jordan and his championship rings. And I hope once and for all, this LeBron versus Jordan debate and the hypotheticals finally end and stop. So, as always,
He's chatting because it's never gonna end, my brother. It's never gonna end until LeBron retires and it's actually said and done. It's not gonna end because LeBron is still accumulating stats, accumulating accolades, things like that, bro. It's not gonna stop until he's done, you know. And you acting like it's not an argument is crazy, gang. Like there's no argument for LeBron. It's crazy. That's the craziest part. We all know Bron get 2 more rings, 2 more Finals MVPs. We having a real conversation, you know, a real conversation. We all know that though. If y'all enjoyed, click on the last reaction though. I'm out of here.